Welcome back to Seasons of Her. I'm your host, Tanisha Simmons. And today's episode title is called The Counselor's Truth: What We Feel, What We See, and also What We Carry. Today, I have my partner in crime. Her name is Lauren Kleesner.
Hey,
Welcome to Seasons of Her.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. So before we get started, Lauren is going to tell us all about who she is, why she became a counselor, and how long have you been a counselor at Sykeston?
Okay. So I actually started my schooling. I wanted to be a psychologist,
Mm.
and then I quickly learned that was going to be too much school.
Yeah.
So I decided to go into teaching because I loved kids. And so I went into teaching. I taught for 4 years. And then I thought, well, I'll do school counseling because it's kind of the best of both worlds. And so I got my master's in school counseling, and I've been a counselor here at middle school for this is my 8th year.
Yeah. I wanted to go into clinical mental health, and I realized it was too much school, and I'm like, no, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. But I actually think I'm going to go back and get some more schooling because being a school counselor, you kind of stuck in this, realm of this is the only thing that you could do. And I just like to help people outside of school. You do too.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of puts me in that box of like, dang, I have to stay within the
Mm-hmm.
school settings.
Yeah, like that circle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to dive right in and we're going to talk about what we see within our students or just as a school counselor overall. What do we see? Because typically people think that we just sit in our offices all the time. And I know I had like friends, so I'm like, oh, I had a hard day today. And I'm like, so what did you do? I'm like, let me tell you exactly what I did. So, can you tell us what do you see in your students that people may not expect or believe?
What I see is students really just want to be heard and they want to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's dealing with academics, their mental health, conflicts with peers, any of that. They just want to have that voice. And of course, it comes with emotions.
Yeah.
You know, whether they're happy about something, they're sad about something, they're mad, they're angry, all the emotions. And I like to let the students know that you can have more than one emotion
Mm-hmm.
at a time.
Yeah.
You can be happy about something, but also upset about something too.
Yeah. And we probably are in that generation to where we didn't have a voice as a kid. I know I didn't have a voice as a kid. You can really, express yourself in a way that students do now. Was that the same for you, or?
You know, that's a really hard question because I do feel like I had a voice, but maybe not as much as they do now.
Yeah. No.
And I think it's more, uh, we want that for the kids now. Whereas maybe when we were growing up, it wasn't as prominent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they want to be heard and they want to have a voice.
Mm-hmm. So, what is some struggles that you often see in people that's dealing with mental health?
I think a big one is there's still a stigma on getting help. There's a stigma on reaching out to others because they feel like they might be judged or they might be looked at differently if they have had concerns of the past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like mental health concerns or just going through the emotions and not knowing how to express them the correct way.
Yeah. So, do you see this still in adults as well as like the students?
Oh yeah, I see it in adults and kids. The stigma part, yeah, the stigma part is still there. I do think that it's becoming a little bit more normalized.
Yeah.
And I think it should be in today's world that it's okay to get help.
Yeah, yeah. I know I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was just sharing, what our students deal with. Of course, I can't get names and details, but just letting people know, like, this is a real conversation and a real thing that we deal with on a normal, really on an everyday basis. That when we come in our office, we're dealing with, mental health. And in that conversation, I kind of told those people, I was like, I wouldn't want to talk to you if I was dealing with mental health because it was that stigma that they continue to go with. And I said, you, because you never know what somebody else is dealing with. And I was like, I'm glad, I know where to get help if I need help. And I know what I need to do. But yeah, I told them, I'm like, I wouldn't want to have that conversation with you or tell you about anybody because of you still have that stigma, and that's it's a real thing.
Yeah, I think that I think working with the kids right now, it's really important. Like I even say, like sometimes they're hesitant to say something or share something, and I
Mm-hmm.
say, this is a safe place. It's okay if you express
Mm-hmm.
yourself here. It doesn't go anywhere unless those things, like if they're going to
Yeah.
harm themselves, they're going to hurt somebody else. Of course, those things have to be shared,
Mm-hmm.
but they just need to know that it's okay. I mean, even just coming in and screaming, getting mad, just
Mm-hmm.
letting them know that it's okay to let those emotions out.
Yeah, and we done that this year. And one of the things I know I tell the students, when they do open up, then they start giving me answers that I want to hear, and I always say, well, let's start over. This is a safe zone. This is a real zone. I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to tell me exactly how you're feeling. So let's start over. And then we'll start over, and then they'll start lobbing off of how they're really feeling and the things that they do. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, now I can help you. Being real with them, also letting them know, like, it's not about me, it's about you. I'm just here to support you. So you don't have to say the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, because we all struggle. But you are a child, so it's my job to make sure that you're getting the necessary help that you need.
Right.
Yeah. What breaks your heart when you are dealing with this with your students?
So I think what's really heartbreaking is you listen to their stories and you take it all in and you want to help them, and you only have a certain amount of what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be the problem fixer.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're having a problem, I want to be able to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't always do that in
Mm-hmm.
some of the situations that are told to me. So of course I carry that,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of takes me to I hold on to it and I think about
Mm-hmm.
it. In my earlier years, I would say first through 5 years probably, I would go home on the weekends and think about them. I would,
Mm-hmm.
you know, are they okay? What's going on? I can't wait to see them on Monday. And you hold on to it, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't. There's not really anything you can do. You can only do so much.
Yeah. So this is my second year as a counselor, and I think some situations I take back home with me, but a lot of the situations I try to let go of it, just because I know then it will affect me, it affect my household, it affect everything outside of school. So I do try to release that. Sometimes I'm at home and I'm like, this is what happened today. I don't, I need a reset. Don't bother me for a little bit. But other times I just kind of try to let it go. But it's heartbreaking when as a school counselor, like our job is a short term
Mm-hmm.
thing, and that's what we
Right.
get taught that it's short term. So you have to refer them to other agencies and different things. You can't be the fixer, and when you are a fixer person and you want to fix everything, that's hard.
And I think too, you mentioned something along the lines of like some things you take home and some things you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last few years I've had to really learn boundaries with
Mm-hmm.
my work versus home life, and that's where um, I just have to let some things go
Mm-hmm.
so that I can then be a wife and now mom.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do people misunderstand about being a counselor?
I would question if they really understand the stories that we hear
Mm-hmm.
and the day-to-day things that we do. They may just see us walking in the hallways and it appears that we're not doing anything,
Yeah.
but we really are. And a lot of the times when we are in our office and maybe our doors closed, we've got heavy things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we're walking in the hallways, maybe we're taking a break for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves.
I can agree with you. I know we're not allowed with confidentiality to tell details about things that we hear. So a school teacher may not understand exactly what's happening because we may just say, "Oh, this student just need a break," or this student will just stay in our office. Can we get the student's work? Initially, their first thought probably be like, "Oh, they're just probably taking a nap and chilling." And we just take it. You have to take that. You have to allow them to think that initially, because our priority is making sure that our students' mental health is okay. And I know it will. I will say, mental health becomes comes before academics to an extent. If your student is not, if our students is not focused mentally, how can they focus on their assignment in the classroom? So our job is to get them to a place where they can finish out the day. They take the necessary breaks. They do whatever they need to do. So when you mentioned earlier about students throwing things, I had a student this year. I'm like, what do you need? I'm like, what? Just tell me what do you need. And that student just needed to scream and let some of that frustration out. You know what I did? I shut my door and I allowed that student to do that, because sometimes they don't need to hear that they are amazing students or an amazing person, because they know that. But sometimes they just need to be able to cry it out without people making them feel bad for that. So we give them that space. I am quick to say, what do you need from me? I mean, sometimes they don't know, but sometimes they need to scream it, cry it out. And I'm like, take whatever time you need. So that's a lot. And I don't think people don't realize that either. No, they don't realize that in that moment, and a lot of times we have to put our own mental health, our own feelings to the side to make sure that they are okay. And on top of that as well, we have to make sure that our teachers are okay. Because we had heavy days this year and last year, and we were going to make sure that our teachers were okay so they can continue to teach, and giving them breaks, and allowing them to use our space, and calling or texting them and giving them resources. So although we are here for our students, we are also here for the staff and all the people, but that take us to put our own feelings and thoughts and things to the side to make sure that everybody is okay. Yeah. So, and then for each other too,
Yes.
Yeah, it was, I can tell when she's upset, and she can tell when I'm upset, and we always like, I'll take care of it and go do you, or whatever the case may be. So that it's a lot. So that takes me back, not takes me back, but that takes me to my next thing. How do you deal with your own mental health?
Well, I actually do see a counselor for myself. And I have since, it's been a while since I got my counseling degree, because in counseling, when I was in school for my master's, they recommended you to talk to a counselor about things that maybe would come up with a client or with a student in session that might bother you. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to work on myself some. And in the meantime, I just continue to see her, and I see her once a month now. But I also like to do, I like to do other things like taking walks and hanging out with my baby. And I love going to the river. That's my happy place. I love to go to the river. And just making sure that I'm doing things for myself to let go of what happened at work, or, and sometimes it maybe just be in the moment. Like we have those days we look at each other and we're like, we got to take a break or something. So I'll run and go get a soda or something like that, because it just has to happen right then, just to get out of the building for a minute, get a little fresh air, and then kind of like it's a reset for the day.
So I mean, I don't see a therapist myself. I did see one. I mean, I thought it was helpful, but I'm currently not seeing one. I need to see one. I deal with a lot on my personal, and I don't think sometimes people know that. They just always see me, just out and about, happy or whatever the case may be. But I definitely deal with things. And one of my favorite things now is to go out of town with my husband, not pay for anything, sit on the passenger seat and not have a care in the world. And that right there gives me the reset and the restart. I recently started taking medication for anxiety. And I did talk to Lauren about it. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? Or do you know people that have taken it? And I finally went to my doctor, because they always ask you those questions like, are you okay on the scale of 1 to 10 or whatever? And I'm always like, yep, I'm fine, I'm perfect. And I got tired of saying that, and I'm not okay sometimes. So I started taking, anxiety medicine, and I could tell the difference when I was on it. I was so chill, nothing was, freaking me out or whatever the case may be. I
Mm-hmm.
know at one point my husband said something to me, and normally I'm probably, popping back off, and I was like, okay, all right. Um, but that helped me, and that's helping me. And also pray. I pray all the time. I read my word. If I'm overwhelmed, I'm listening to gospel music. I'm watching what I um, like, my conversations or what I'm watching on TV, and then also just journal.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things help me with mental health.
Yeah, I'd like to say I do take medication too, and I have off and on since probably I don't know early 2000s, mid two
Mm-hmm.
thousands, something like that. But I've been off and on them, But I
Yeah.
realize that it really does help, and if you're consistent and everything. But I also would like to mention your journals that
Mm-hmm.
you've done. I have both of them, and I sometimes when my mind is just so full,
Mm-hmm.
I will just jot everything down, and it won't be in a complete sentence. It'll be like bullet points, and that way I just feel like I can get it out
Mm-hmm.
and move on, or get it out, and then I'm able to either talk about what's on the paper or mainly just get it out of my brain so I
Mm-hmm.
won't keep thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
She says she prays too. I need to get better at that.
Okay.
So I I'm active in the Catholic Church in Orion, and I will just be honest. I need to get better at praying daily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really think that I enjoy this job, and I enjoy what we do, and
Mm-hmm.
but I enjoy being able to be that person for those kids. And sometimes, and our teachers as well. But working in education and seeing these kids, we have like 500 students. When Lauren was on maternity leave, I was here by myself, and in that moment, I couldn't think about what Tanisha needed. I had to make sure that I had put my foot on the ground and just kept going. And a lot of times, the people in the I mean, not district, but the people in the school didn't know that I was struggling that day. I'm like, I don't want to spaz out. Just having people to understand the importance of these kids deal with the same stuff that we're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
and we are at the age to where we have access to get help, um, and our students don't. Like, we can drive ourselves to a therapist, we can drive ourselves to the doctor, and if we don't have a like if you don't have a vehicle, how to get there. You can do all of these things. You don't need your parent to sign off on stuff. These students need their parents and their guardians to do these things. So it's our job to give them coping skills, to give them everything that they need to be successful in life. And sometimes we get selfish in that moment to say, well, you should know better. Why are you thinking like this? Why are you
Mm-hmm.
feeling like this? You're just doing it because that's what you see on TikTok or whatever the case may be. Honestly, most of the time, that's how they truly feel. And if they don't have an outlet to talk to somebody about it, then they're going to post it on TikTok or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. I don't know. It's a real touchy subject, but it's one of the most important subjects, just because your mind is one powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cannot control your mind, then it's taken over of what's happening. What what almost broke you, but you also grew from it? What almost broke you, but you grew from it?
I've had a, there's been multiple situations that have been really hard. The amount of students who have thoughts
Mm-hmm.
of suicide and the amount that have plans is really alarming,
Mm-hmm.
and sad. And I hope that we're helping these students. And I hope that if there are students out there or adults out there that have those thoughts and have plans, that they get the help that they need. But I feel like that's very, I don't know, it's just heartbreaking. And it's kind of heartbreaking to see that I'm going to have a daughter growing up in this world. Of course, I don't want her to have those thoughts, but I have no control over that. And I think that's one thing that we have to give it to God and raise our kids in the faith.
Okay, so have you poured into others while you were empty?
Yes, and that is really hard because you're already depleted. You know, sometimes we've talked about at different PDs here at school where like your tolerance level is already through the threshold. So how are you going to come in and do schoolwork and do all the things when your cup is already overflowing? And I feel like that's been me a few times where it's like I'm already at my wit's end, but yet I got to keep going for the kids and for the staff. And it's one of those things that you just pick it up and keep doing it that day, and then hopefully at the end of the day you can take some me time.
Yeah. So what boundaries did you have to set for this job to protect your own peace?
Like I mentioned before, I had to really learn how to keep it at work, keep work and personal life separate. But I think also just like getting home and talk to my husband, not going into detail about a lot of things, but like just saying, this is what I dealt with today, and getting it off my chest, kind of like making those bullet points in a journal, just being able to get it out and move on. But the boundaries have to be set, or you feel like you're just drowning all the time with the compassion fatigue. That's a real thing. You listen to all these stories and you have so much compassion, and then it's tiring.
Yeah.
So just making sure you take time for yourself too.
Yeah. So what is something that you had to unlearn to become more mentally healthier?
Well, in my early counseling years, I really held on to everything. And I think you could see it in me that I was just not necessarily depressed, but like I wasn't happy-go-lucky Lauren. And I think my family may have seen that side of me, but it's just because I kept thinking about all the things that were happening that I couldn't control. My mentor, Tanya, really taught me realm of control. Like, these are the things you can control and these are the things you can't control. And I had to really learn that. And continue to remind myself of those.
So when you say these are the things that you can control and the things that you cannot control, I know that it's easier to do that in a school setting or your work setting, because I think I'm very good at controlling the things I can control, and if I can't control it, whatever. She said I'm nonchalant. So, but I am not like that in my personal life. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I'm like all the things. So how are you in your personal life when it comes to that? Control what you can control and
I try to control everything. My husband is a go with the flow, and I can't handle it. But we try to compromise and work things out. But it's just like I want to know exactly what's happening. I'm trying to plan a golf cart ride before I even go to work because I know I'm going to need a golf cart ride to decompress. And he's like, "Oh, we'll just play it by ear," and I'm like, "No, we're going to do it." Like, I have to have a plan. I like to have a plan. So I guess to sum that up is I like to know everything in the personal life, try to control everything. And then having a baby, that really threw a wrench in my things because why is she crying? I don't know. I can't control it. I don't know what she's crying for. We try this, we try that, we try this. She's still crying. And so I feel like having a baby, I guess I've kind of shown me like you can't control everything.
I know that's something we talked about before. So speaking of you being a mom now, how was your mental health before you were pregnant, during the pregnancy, and after?
Okay. So before, I felt like, before it was just, taking care of me and taking care of what I need. so I felt like mental health was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I can, during pregnancy, it was okay. I kept thinking, well, I'm in control right now because she's, with me all the time. But then I kept thinking, like, what's going to happen when she's here with me? And I did think I probably overthought a lot of things because I'm an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
But then afterwards, my anxiety skyrocketed because I was anxious about everything, like driving in a car with her and just anything really just made me really anxious. I would say the medicine is helping with that.
Mm-hmm.
We now go everywhere and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, mental health is kind of in a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of, I really think that's everybody.
Yeah.
It's just not everybody talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we all have baggage. We all go through something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, some people choose to talk about it and some people don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people choose to ball up and say whatever. We're gonna keep it going.
What happened?
But I'm a person. I have to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
because once I hold it in, I know I'm probably crying more, or ticked off and mad and all the things. But yeah, I have to talk about if I'm feeling it, I need to let it go and release it. Yeah. Okay. I know this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I thought it was perfect that you have two counselors school counselors sit down and have a conversation about, what we see, what we feel, and what we carry. And also just give you insight of how serious it is within our youth, and within adults, and what we deal with personally as well outside of our uniform. So if you are someone that is dealing with anything with mental health, you can call 988. You can actually call or text. That's available 24/7. That is actually real people, having conversation. You're having a conversation with. I know we have a lot of AI going on and Chat GBT and all the things that people use for mental health conversations. We will say contact 988 and they will be there for you. Also give you good coping skills and refer you to different places or, facilities. So 988 is that number. Do you have any recommendations of any local places around our area that would be great? Or
well, I know there's a few in Cape, a few different facilities in Cape, and I think there's a few here in town. But I mean, just reach out, to someone, and we can help.
Yeah,
do our best.
Yeah. Discussion. But do you have anything else that you want to leave the people regarding mental health?
I think it's very important, just like if you go to the doctor for your actual health, it's very important to take care of your mental health just the same, by seeing a therapist or, for me, I do medication and I see a therapist.
Yeah. And then for me, I do medication, prayer, journal, and all the other things. But do what's best for you when it comes to your mental health. Talk to someone, a trusted person, and let them know. Because a lot of times, sorry, I didn't say this before, but a lot of times when we as adults go through things, we want to deal with it ourselves. And we want to continue to go through life. I do want you to know, as she said, it's a roller coaster ride. We go through different seasons. In these seasons, maybe we are on our high, and then we have a season where we at our lowest, and then we're like, oh, it's okay type of season. But whatever season that you're in, make sure that your mental health is okay. Make sure that you talk to someone. Make sure you be real with your doctors when you go. Because again, like I said, I was not real with my doctors about how I feel and how I go through things every day. And if you pray, but take your mental health serious. Like Lauren said, your health all over is serious. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. I do want to thank Lauren for coming and sharing her expertise.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we are going to go because we're going to have to go take care of ourselves. Bye.